You know, it's pretty strange to find ourselves agreeing with Diane Abbott on something. Honestly, I never thought I'd ever make a video praising her or her opinions. In today's video, we're going to watch as she goes head to head with Keir Starmer and absolutely tears him apart live on TV. Whether you love her or hate her, one thing is clear. This time, she's not holding back. Let's dive in and see what she has to say.
He did understand.
No, he doesn't. That's the problem. He doesn't. One of the things about Keir is he's only been in the party a relatively short period of time. He was DPP until I think 2014, and he couldn't have been a member of the party. Then he got parachuted into Keir. No, he got parachuted into
St Pancras.
Holborn, just parachuted in, didn't have to contest for it. Then, because it was a safe seat, he didn't have to fight for that, and he has no feel for politics. Now, he might say, I've got a great feel for politics because I smashed people like you. But he's got no feel for politics. He doesn't understand how they feel. Remember, he's on his big fat DPP pension. What does he know about, ageing women who really will depend on the state pension? He doesn't know.
He is your leader.
Absolutely.
He is your Prime Minister.
Yes. Yes, no, he's my leader and he's my Prime Minister. Therefore, I'm entitled to say what I think. There's more I could say, but I've said
Diane, go on.
but I've said the minimum. But no, he doesn't understand how they feel. And the other thing he doesn't know, because he wasn't an MP at the time, is how persistent they were and how committed they were to their campaign.
And how widespread is the feeling amongst Labour MPs who are upset with this government decision? Because it was not in the manifesto, was it? It was not promised.
I think a lot of MPs are very unhappy. It may be that, the new intake are going to march with Keir over a cliff, but a lot of MPs, particularly MPs that had their photo taken with WASPy women, if they think that people are going to rally behind them, what is going to happen is those new MPs are going to go back to their constituencies and they're going to hear what people think. And I think they could be on a kind of knife edge on that vote, because there'll be so many Labour MPs who will either not vote or vote against them.
Right, is it?
Diane Abbott has launched a comprehensive critique of Keir Starmer, focusing on his leadership within the Labour Party and questioning his ability to connect meaningfully with grassroots supporters. Abbott's analysis delves into the trajectory of Starmer's political career, which she portrays as lacking the formative experiences that traditionally define Labour leaders. She highlights Starmer's relatively late entry into Labour politics, following a high-profile legal career as Director of Public Prosecutions, as emblematic of a leader who has not undergone the trials and tribulations faced by long-standing party members. According to Abbott, Starmer's ascent to power, secured by being parachuted into a safe parliamentary seat, bypassed the organic processes of grassroots mobilization and constituency building that shape authentic political leadership. This, she argues, has left him detached from the lived experiences and struggles of Labour's core voter base. A significant pillar of Abbott's criticism is Starmer's perceived inability to empathize with the everyday challenges faced by ordinary people, particularly aging women who rely on state pension. Abbott draws a sharp contrast between Starmer's privileged background, bolstered by a substantial pension from his legal career, and the precarious financial realities endured by many Labour voters. She asserts that this disparity undermines his credibility as a leader who can effectively champion the party's core values of social justice and economic equality. By failing to fully grasp or address the hardships faced by these voters, Abbott contends, Starmer risks alienating the very demographic that Labour has historically relied upon for support. Abbott's critique extends beyond Starmer's personal background to encompass broader tensions within the Labour Party. She points to a growing undercurrent of dissatisfaction among MPs, many of whom are disillusioned by leadership decisions that appear to deviate from traditional Labour principles and manifesto commitments. Abbott warns of potential fractures within the party, suggesting that MPs who align too closely with Starmer's leadership may face backlash from constituents frustrated by unmet promises and a perceived drift away from the party's progressive roots. This simmering discontent, she predicts, could escalate into open dissent, with some MPs choosing to abstain or even vote against the party on contentious issues, reflecting deeper divisions within Labour's ranks.
Can I talk to you about a decision which is all yours, and it's nothing particularly to do with the past? List of the new appointees to the House of Lords appeared a couple of days ago. Why is someone who was sacked as Chief of Staff after 100 days, because apparently she wasn't up to the job, being given a life peerage?
Well, look, we've appointed a range of peerages. Some people think we shouldn't be appointing any at all because we are reforming the House of Lords, but that is going to take time as well. And we've got the Hereditary Peers Bill going through Parliament at the moment, which will abolish hereditary peers altogether, something that's long overdue. And that big programme of reform of the House of Lords will continue. But in the meantime, we've got to try and get our business through both houses. So we've got business.
The reason I'm asking you this question, not to be smart, Alec, but the point is, you made a great deal of play when you were in opposition about the previous government appointing people because they were part of the then Prime Minister's circle and so on and so forth. And I wonder whether there's any part of you that has any pause for thought that it might look to the untutored observer that you're doing exactly the same thing that you criticised others for?
Well, I'm not sure what criticisms particularly were put in there, but there were general
Boris
questions
Johnson,
being asked probably by the media
the two young peers who
around
appointed,
others.
you were all over it.
Yeah. Well,
You said they weren't worthy of it.
Right. I don't know that I did. But look, I think the point being that what we've now brought in is a system where you do have to put a proper citation in about why someone deserves a peerage.
This exchange between the Sky News presenter and Lucy Powell delves into the complex and often controversial nature of political appointments to the House of Lords, raising questions about the integrity and transparency of such decisions. The presenter opens with a pointed critique, asking why someone dismissed as Chief of Staff after only 100 days, ostensibly due to a lack of capability, would be rewarded with a life peerage. This serves as a sharp entry point into a broader discussion about the criteria for appointments to one of the UK's most significant political institutions, as well as the potential for such appointments to be seen as politically motivated or as a reward for loyalty rather than merit. Lucy Powell's initial response frames the appointments within the broader context of reform efforts for the House of Lords. She points to the ongoing Hereditary Peers Bill, aimed at abolishing inherited titles as evidence of the government's commitment to modernizing the institution, by emphasizing that reform is a gradual process and that business must continue in both houses during this transition. Powell seeks to justify the continued practice of appointing life peers, even amidst widespread calls for a pause or complete overhaul of the system. However, this defense does little to address the specific concern raised about this particular appointment, which the presenter identifies as emblematic of potential cronyism and favoritism. The presenter sharpens the critique further by drawing attention to the apparent contradiction between the government's current actions and their past rhetoric while in opposition. When in opposition, the presenter notes, the government made significant criticisms of previous administrations for appointing individuals from the Prime Minister's inner circle to positions of power in the Lords. The implication here is that the government now in power is engaging in the very behavior it once condemned. This kind of inconsistency can be particularly damaging to a party's credibility, especially when it positions itself as a reforming or anti-establishment force. Powell's response to this critique is twofold. First, she attempts to distance herself from the accusations, questioning whether she personally criticized such appointments in the past. This response, however, comes across as evasive, as it does not address the broader systemic issue or the government's collective accountability. Second, she defends the appointments process by asserting that the government has introduced a requirement for formal citations outlining why individuals deserve a period. While this may indeed represent a step towards greater transparency, it does not directly counter the argument that such appointments, regardless of justification, can still appear to the public as rewards for loyalty or as part of a system that privileges personal connections over merit. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment below, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more. You can also connect with us on Telegram.